What kind of tools do you need in business coaching to create transformation? That's what we're discussing today on this episode of the Business Coaching Success Podcast. Let's jump in. BJ O'Neill here with the Business Coaching Success Podcast. So glad you're here, where I share with you strategies, tools, and tips to be able to grow your business coaching practice to six figures and beyond as a Christian business coach. Let's jump in. Welcome. Glad that you are here. I got a word for you today. I say a word, a message, a thought, an idea, things for you to consider about creating success in your business coaching practice. It's all about the tools, but it's not just about the tools. It's how we utilize the tools to do one thing. And that's bring transformation to your prospects, transformation to your leads, transformation to your clients. So kind of setting the stage, what we see, when we look at what are the elements that we do that we should do, what are some of the elements that we do that we should not do? And some of the things that we see, and I talk about this often in our trainings and our podcast about the challenges that I see with coaches make is that in presenting the relationship, especially in the very beginning, if you don't know anybody, or if you don't know the prospect, rather, there was a mutual friend referred you to them, whatever, so you don't have history. What we see oftentimes is that in those types of relationships, in an effort to hopefully get that individual as a client, we approach them with selling business coaching services. The challenge with that is that it can easily fall into being very transactional. We want to do that. We want to build authenticity with a relationship for transformation. You see the difference there? So we want to walk away from transaction. We want to walk towards transformation. And so there's a lot of elements that goes into that: listening correctly, building rapport, all those things that we talk about all the time. But when we have the right tools to support that, that's where some amazing things can happen. So as we build a relationship, as we're getting connected to them, some of the things that we want to be able to identify with that prospect is helping to understand where they're at and listening to what they say or what they even believe problems are, and helping them to recognize solutions that they don't know. That's what transformation is. Because oftentimes when we're building a relationship with a business owner and we're listening to what they're going through and whatnot, we can identify quickly, hey, here's some areas that you may not realize are super important that could actually have bigger value of output than what you think is a current problem. I'll give you an example. Let's just say that the business owner, you're building a relationship, you're having conversation with them, and it's driving them crazy about their website. They don't like it. The people who did it before them, the company, whatever, just didn't really do it what they said, whatever. Or maybe the employee that was in charge of it, they just didn't come out the way that they wanted to. And it's just driving the business owner crazy. Now look, we need to have professional representation of the business with clarity, the right message, all that, absolutely true. But what if, while that may be a problem, what if there are either A, bigger problems that they can't see, or even bigger opportunities available to them that's going to have a greater output of increasing profits and revenues than the website, at least as of this moment. So what we're essentially doing is helping them to reframe their current situation. So I want you to write that down. One of our goals in building that relationship is to understand, as a strategist, and like in our system and in our coaching community, we have an entire full-blown plan with different strategies. 12 of them are what we call just foundational, no-cost strategies. We're not making up new stuff. They've been around forever and a day, but the reality is a lot of businesses still don't deploy them, or they don't deploy them well. And part of our goal is to reframe the situation to determine what are they missing out of those 12. Now, we have a lot more than that, but these are the foundational principles that we want to help them recognize what's possible in the business. This is a part of reframing the situation to help them recognize, well, if all I did If all I did was just to tell you that verbally, which is good, it leaves some room for opportunity to have a visual component of that. And that's where, in our case, and you need to figure out for yourself, well, what can I use? In our case, we use some very high profile software that does that part of the job. It essentially, we become the guide to what's going on in their world. We start to help them to visually recognize several different areas of opportunity that they may not know is available. This gives us the ability to begin to start to challenge assumptions. Because when you're in a coaching relationship, and even if you mean well, you got great intent, if you're not careful, as great coaches, we should challenge assumptions. We should challenge where a prospect is at, both for, hey, do you mind if I just push back on you a little bit, kind of thing? Well, when it's just your words, what happens is it leaves an opportunity for it to be combative. Or what do you know that I don't know? But when you take them through utilization of tools, certainly a visual representation of tools, things can dramatically change. So these are spreadsheets, these are dashboards, these are PowerPoint presentations. Again, we use software that helps tell that story. But it lays out, hey, listen, I hear what you're saying. I understand that this is a challenge to you, but let me show you a couple of things that you may not have considered, or you may not realize that you're on the cusp of doing some really amazing things in your business that you may not, realize how much is really there based upon your current numbers. And so maybe if you have a spreadsheet tool that does that, a dashboard of some sort, there's multiple types of tools that can do that. You can create theory with certain types of slide decks and PowerPoints, and these days even using AI with different types of tools to make that happen as well. But you want to use tools today. Because by yourself, if all you're doing is talking and you're not showing them so they can visually really see, to catch those aha moments, to see what's truly possible in the business. So we're looking to reframe the situation. We're looking to then to challenge some of their assumptions. So that if the website's kind of the thing, this is the way I would kind of push back and challenge that. Hey, totally understand that's exactly, we want to have professional representation. What do you believe that you are missing right now if you made the changes that you're talking about making right now? What do you believe is going to change? And you listen to their response. What type of financial impact do you believe that's going to happen? And you listen to their response. Now, in our world, the software that we use, I may say something like, well, let me show you a couple of things that, yes, you want to get to your website, but let me show you a couple of things. If you spend your energy and time here, you may have a significantly higher gain. That way you can go out and hire the right company to do that website correct. Okay. And I may show them, based upon what some of the conversations we've had and whatnot, a couple of areas. Maybe it might be creating some additional products and services, or creating some joint ventures, with others that can significantly, and more even quickly and efficiently, accelerate their profits and revenues. And by the way, as a side note, always be listening for moments that they are doing some things that you can say, see how you did this right here? If you expanded that, you could even do more of that very thing. My wife and I, over the weekend, we were just kind of goofing off and spending some time together. And we went into a little store that's near our home that is a kind of high-end gourmet foods. They have fresh foods, and then, of course, you like corporate gifts and different things like that. As I got to talking to the business owner, she happened to be there. They have another store in another part of town. They have two of those, and I just began to ask questions. People are interested when you begin to ask questions about them. It happens every time. Well, I found out, and she just kind of said it on her own. They partner with a local vineyard here in the area that we live in, just about 4 miles from us, and they create all of the food pairings for all of the wine tastings and whatnot, right? Well, that is a joint venture. And so I just happened to say to her, hey, kudos to you for creating partnerships like that. She goes, oh, it's an amazing partnership. It's helping get our brand out there more, blah, 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 blah. Those are great strategies. So listen, always be listening for those little moments that you can, because then I said, do you do other type of partnerships? She goes, well, no, we really don't. I'm like, have you ever thought about doing that? She goes, well, we kind of have. That's what you're helping them to reframe the situation, because oftentimes, again, I cannot overly stress this, the challenges and problems that they think are the things that are in the way, while they can be challenges, they may not be the challenges that are truly holding them back from expeditious profit acceleration and overall revenue lift. So the power of reframing the situation is critical. The power of being able to challenge assumptions, especially when you have visual representation, okay? And certainly being able to not only challenge those assumptions, but then explore new angles. Those new angles, again, is where leading them to their moment of aha. When I asked the question over the weekend, so do you do other partnership opportunities? No. Well, have you thought about it? Well, actually we have. Those are aha moments. I've left her with a nugget. And when you do those types of things, you then begin to put yourself in the position of becoming the hunted as well as the guide. And they see you in that light. So if I were to take her through it now, through our assessment tool that we have, utilizing our visual representation in our software, I can point back. So here's what you're currently doing. Imagine if you added 2 more partners, just like the one you have with the local vineyard, what that could, look like. So build your skill in coaching on constantly looking ways to affirm, reframe the situation. Don't be combative, but you definitely want to challenge assumptions. Well, why do you believe that? Why do you think that? What puts you in that position to believe that this is the right thing to do? What's causing you to think that way? Like asking great questions that challenge assumptions. This is what great coaches do. And then you want to explore for new angles. And then you got to have the tools. You got to have some type of tool, in my opinion, to visually show what's possible. Here's where they currently are financially. If they did this, this, and this, here's what they could be doing financially over the next, 6 to 12 months or whatever numbers you're looking at, right? And when you have bars and graphs and pies and there's just a way to visually show that, now it's not about what you know. It's about them understanding what's possible. That's the transformation. So we talk about tools for transformation. You're using a tool to be able to supply them the ability to reach up above their head, as I talk about all the time, empower them to pull that string of that light bulb. And that's what's giving that aha moment. And I cannot tell you the difference about doing what I just shared with you versus trying to go in and convince them why they need to hire a business coach is dramatically different. Because when you present yourself and just trying to say, hey, you can, here's a reason why having a business coach is awesome. Here's 5 reasons why having a business coach is important. Here's the reason. All those things are accurate, but it just removes the ability for actual transformation, and it puts you in the position of just having to convince. And we don't want to just convince. We want to transform. We want to get them in a position to be able to help them understand what's truly possible in the business. You're their partner. You're their guide in helping them do that very thing. Perhaps you're like BJ, been thinking about coaching business owners, and I'm purpose driven. I have a heart for helping others and guiding them. I just don't have resources. I don't have the tools. I just love to do it. I know God's called me to be able to do that. I teach in my local church, or I've coached over here. I've done presentations in the company that I've worked with before, or whatever. And you love doing that, but you don't have the resources and tools. That's exactly what we do, giving you a turnkey, done-for-you solution to be able to help you get your leads, to convert the leads into ongoing high-paying monthly clients, and to then coach them with simplicity using visual tools. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can go to businesscoachmastery.com. That's businesscoachmastery.com. There's some information that you can get right there. You can schedule a chat if you even want to do that much, and we want to be able to help you. And you can see if it's a fit for you, and we can go from there. Okay? Until next time, take care.